The hip-hop world is currently shaking, and at the center of the earthquake is a collision of legacies that no one saw coming. For decades, Jay-Z has maintained a reputation as the coolest guy in the room, the untouchable mogul who moves in silence and rarely lets the public see him sweat. But that composed exterior just shattered. Rumors are swirling that HOV has absolutely snapped, and the reason points directly toward a surprising move by T.I. involving 50 Cent's highly anticipated and controversial documentary series. We all know 50 Cent is the undisputed king of digital warfare. His upcoming documentary promised to peel back the layers of the industry's darkest corners. But when T.I. allegedly provided testimony or footage that dragged Jay-Z's name into the narrative, the silent billionaire decided he'd had enough. This isn't just about a rap feud. It's about the politics of power, the unwritten codes of the streets, and what happens when a king of the South inadvertently puts a target on the back of the king of New York. Why would T.I., a man who has always shown respect to the Roc Nation founder, suddenly play into 50 Cent's hands? Is this a case of accidental snitching on a corporate level? Or is there a deeper resentment brewing between these icons? Fans are dissecting every cryptic social media post and industry leak, trying to figure out if the big three of the business world are about to enter a cold war that could change the industry forever. Tonight, we're diving deep into the fallout. We're looking at the specific allegations T.I. dropped, why 50 Cent is laughing all the way to the bank, and most importantly, the unprecedented snap from Jay-Z that has everyone from the block to the boardrooms whispering. This is a story of betrayal, calculated risks, and a legendary temper finally reaching its boiling point. Stick around because the throne is officially under fire. To truly understand why a man as composed as Jay-Z would reportedly reach a breaking point, you have to understand the delicate ecosystem of hip-hop's elite. For the last 2 decades, Sean Jay-Z Carter has operated less like a rapper and more like a silent sovereign. He has carefully curated an image of untouchable success, built on the foundation of the blueprint. In his world, discretion is everything. He doesn't do tell-all interviews, he doesn't engage in Twitter spats, and he certainly doesn't allow his name to be used as a prop in someone else's narrative. But that ironclad control was recently challenged, and the source of the friction is an unexpected alliance between T.I. and Jay's longtime ideological rival. 50 Cent 50 Cent has spent the better part of the last year teasing a massive documentary project. While many expected it to focus on his usual targets, the scope of the project shifted when 50 began sitting down with legends from the South, specifically T.I. The King of the South and the King of New York have historically shared a platform of mutual respect. They've shared stages and business circles. However, insiders claim that during an extensive interview session for 50's documentary, T.I. went off-script. He didn't just talk about his own rise to fame. He began detailing the internal politics of the mid-2000s, a time when Jay-Z was transitioning from the president of Def Jam to the billionaire mogul of Roc Nation. The betrayal, according to sources close to the Roc Nation camp, wasn't about T.I. saying anything illegal. In the high-stakes world of billionaire business, the greatest sin is the breach of the inner sanctum. T.I. allegedly shared anecdotes about private negotiations and strategic moves Jay-Z made to ensure New York remained the epicenter of hip-hop, even as the Atlanta trap movement was beginning to take over the charts. For Jay-Z, who prides himself on being a mentor to the culture, having T.I. frame these moves as gatekeeping or calculated suppression in a 50 Cent-produced project was the ultimate insult. When the news of T.I.'s commentary reached Jay-Z, the reaction was described as instant and icy. Jay-Z doesn't scream. He goes silent, and that silence is often more terrifying than an outburst. Reports began to surface that Jay-Z had snapped in a private meeting, expressing his disbelief that T.I. would hand 50 Cent the ammunition he had been seeking for 20 years. 50 Cent has always portrayed Jay-Z as a corporate suit who abandoned the streets for the boardroom. By T.I. providing behind-the-scenes context, he inadvertently validated 50 Cent's long-running smear campaign. The psychological warfare between Jay-Z and 50 Cent is legendary. While Jay-Z plays chess, 50 Cent plays psychological demolition. 50 knows that he can't outspend Jay-Z, but he can out-troll him. He can chip away at the dignity that Jay-Z has spent years building. By bringing T.I. into the fold, 50 Cent achieved a tactical masterstroke. He didn't just get a witness. He got a peer of Jay-Z to testify against the myth of the blueprint. This is why Jay-Z snapped. It wasn't just anger. It was the realization that his circle of trust was smaller than he thought. The fallout was immediate. In the weeks following the leak of T.I.'s involvement, the industry noticed a great wall being built around Jay-Z. Major events where both were expected to attend suddenly saw schedule shifts. There are whispers that Roc Nation executives reached out to T.I.'s team, not with a legal threat, but with a disappointment memo that carried the weight of a professional exile. In the music industry, being on the wrong side of HOV is a dangerous place to be. It affects festival bookings, streaming placements, and brand partnerships. T.I., who has been working hard to solidify his own legacy, suddenly found himself in the crosshairs of a man who controls the very strings of the industry. But why did T.I. do it? Some analysts believe T.I. wasn't trying to hurt Jay-Z at all. T.I. is a storyteller. He's someone who values the real history of the game. He may have thought he was providing a nuanced look at how the industry worked during a volatile time. He might have thought his relationship with Jay was strong enough to withstand some truth-telling. However, he underestimated the sensitivity Jay-Z has regarding his corporate legacy. To Jay-Z, there is no such thing as just a story. Everything is branding. If you aren't helping the brand, you're hurting it. 50 Cent, of course, leaned into the chaos. He took to Instagram to post cryptic messages, laughing at the tension. He began calling the documentary The Truth That New York Tried to Hide, by positioning himself as the one brave enough to tell the story and T.I. as his star witness. He successfully pulled Jay-Z into a mud fight. This is exactly where Jay-Z hates to be. He prefers the high ground of Basquiat paintings and private jets. 50 Cent dragged him back to the street corners of 2003, and T.I. was the one who handed 50 the map. As the industry watched this unfold, a divide began to form. Younger artists, who grew up idolizing both the hustle of 50 and the brilliance of Jay, were forced to watch their idols clash in a way that felt permanent. This wasn't a rap battle. This was a corporate civil war. The snap heard round the world wasn't a physical one, but a total severance of ties. Jay-Z reportedly gave the order to deprioritize any projects involving those who contributed to the documentary without his clearance. For every artist Jay-Z helped, there is another who feels they were overlooked or blocked by the Roc Nation machine. 50 Cent is capitalizing on that resentment, and T.I. gave him the perfect opening. As we conclude this first segment, the tension is at an all-time high. T.I. is reportedly trying to walk back his comments, claiming they were edited for drama, while 50 Cent is doubling down, promising that the footage of T.I. is just the tip of the iceberg. Jay-Z remains in his fortress of silence, but the snap has sent a clear message to the world. The king is watching, and he does not forgive the betrayal of the code. In the next part, we will look at the specific evidence 50 Cent claims to have, the tapes, the ledgers, and the secret meetings that Jay-Z never wanted the world to see. The friction between Jay-Z and T.I. didn't just stop at a few hurt feelings. It escalated into a full-scale tactical war when 50 Cent revealed the receipts he had collected. In the world of high-level entertainment, a claim is only as good as the evidence backing it up, and 50 Cent is a master of the long game. For part 2 of this unfolding drama, we have to look at the specific documents and recordings that allegedly caused Jay-Z to go from silent mogul to a man on the warpath. Rumors began to circulate that the documentary contains leaked, bridge-building meetings from 2012, where Jay-Z and several tech giants discussed the future of streaming, meetings that T.I. was allegedly present for, and meetings that 50 Cent claims were used to monopolize the market at the expense of independent artists. T.I.'s involvement in these segments is what makes the situation so volatile. In the footage 50 Cent has been teasing, T.I. reportedly discusses the inner workings of how certain artists were selected to be the faces of major brands while others were systematically phased out. For a man like Jay-Z, who has built a brand on the idea of black excellence and lifting as we climb, the accusation that he played a role in gatekeeping his own peers is a poison pill. 50 Cent's documentary portrays Jay-Z not as a mentor, but as a corporate cleaner who ensured that his seat at the top was never threatened. When T.I. provided the context for these power moves, He wasn't just telling a story. He was providing a roadmap of Jay-Z's most private business strategies. The snap we saw from Jay-Z manifests in what industry insiders call the Great Blackout. Immediately after the footage was screened for a small group of executives, Jay-Z's influence began to move in the shadows. We started seeing T.I.'s name disappear from high-level guest lists and collaborative projects that were once considered done deals. This is Jay-Z's signature move. He doesn't need to go on a podcast to vent his frustrations when he can simply close the doors to the rooms that matter. The message was sent loud and clear throughout the industry. Associating with 50 Cent's exposé comes with a price that most artists simply cannot afford to pay. But 50 Cent, true to his get-rich-or-die-trying mentality, didn't flinch. Instead, he upped the ante. He began posting snippets of what he calls the T.I. files, audio recordings, where the King of the South describes a specific rift that occurred during the Watch the Throne era. According to these leaks, there were disagreements about how the South's influence was being utilized or exploited by New York's elite. By bringing these old wounds to the surface, 50 Cent is successfully painting a picture of a fractured hip-hop hierarchy. He is using T.I.'s natural charisma and truth-telling reputation to validate his own decades-long grudge against HOV. The psychological toll of this Cold War is visible. T.I. found himself in an impossible position. On one hand, he prides himself on being a stand-up guy who tells the truth. On the other, he realized he had inadvertently become a pawn in 50 Cent's grand scheme to deconstruct Jay-Z's legacy. Sources say T.I. reached out to Jay-Z to explain that his words were weaponized through selective editing. But the damage was done. In Jay-Z's eyes, the moment you sit down with the enemy to discuss family business, you are no longer family. The snap wasn't a temporary moment of anger. It was a permanent reassessment of T.I.'s loyalty. While the public sees the memes and the headlines, the real battle is happening in the legal departments. Jay-Z's legal team reportedly issued a series of cease and desist letters to the production companies involved in the documentary, citing non-disclosure agreements that T.I. may have unintentionally violated. 50 Cent, never one to be intimidated by a lawyer, responded by mocking the legal threats on social media, claiming that the truth doesn't have an expiration date. This legal back and forth has only added fuel to the fire, making the documentary the most anticipated piece of media in the hip-hop world. The most shocking part of this segment involves the secret ledgers. 50 Cent claims to have documents showing how certain tour dates and festival lineups were manipulated to favor Roc Nation artists over everyone else, including T.I.'s Grand Hustle roster. If these documents are real, and if T.I. confirmed their authenticity on camera, it explains why Jay-Z is so uncharacteristically furious. It's one thing to be accused of being a tough businessman. It's another to be accused of actively sabotaging the livelihoods of your brothers in the industry. As the tension mounted, other industry titans were forced to take a side. You started seeing subtle shifts in social media following and public endorsements. The industry became a chessboard where every move was scrutinized. Jay-Z's snap sent ripples through the corporate world, with rumors that major sponsors were reconsidering their involvement with any project that featured the T.I./50 Cent alliance. This is the power of the Carter Empire. It's not just about music. It's about the economy of the culture. Despite the pressure, 50 Cent continues to lean into the villain role he plays so well. He knows that the more Jay-Z pushes back, the more guilty he looks to the public. It's a classic trap. If Jay-Z ignores it, the narrative spreads. If he fights it, he gives it more life. By involving T.I., 50 Cent found the one person whose voice could actually penetrate Jay-Z's armor. T.I. wasn't just a random hater. He was a contemporary who had seen the blueprint up close. As we wrap up this second part of the script, the question isn't just about whether the documentary will be released, but what will be left of these relationships once it is. T.I. is standing in the middle of a burning bridge, 50 Cent is holding the matches, and Jay-Z is on the other side, watching it all unfold with a cold, calculated stare. The snap was just the warning shot. The real explosion is yet to come. In the final part of our series, we will look at the ultimate fallout. We'll discuss the reconciliation meetings that went wrong, the final ultimatum Jay-Z gave to the industry, and how this feud will ultimately define the legacies of the three most powerful men in hip-hop. As the dust began to settle on the initial shockwaves of the TI files, the hip-hop community braced itself for the final act of this corporate tragedy. In the streets and in the boardrooms, the question wasn't if the relationship between Jay-Z and TI could be saved, but how much damage 50 Cent's documentary would do before the credits even rolled. The third act of this drama represents the final ultimatum, a moment where Jay-Z, pushed to his limit, reportedly decided to redraw the lines of his empire, making it clear that in his world, you are either with the throne or you are against it. Mediation attempts were allegedly made by several high-profile mutual friends. Names like Pharrell Williams and even Swizz Beatz were whispered to have stepped in to try and facilitate a sit-down between the King of the South and the God MC. However, sources close to the situation claim that Jay-Z was immovable. For Jay, this wasn't a misunderstanding that could be settled over a bottle of Ace of Spades. This was a fundamental breach of the unspoken code of the one. T.I.'s decision to provide a platform for 50 Cent, a man who has spent 2 decades trying to dismantle the Carter legacy, was seen as an act of high treason. The snap that began in the boardroom had now evolved into a total diplomatic blackout. 50 Cent, sensing blood in the water, didn't slow down. In the final segments of his documentary project, he reportedly focuses on the concept of the corporate mask. He uses T.I.'s testimonials to argue that the hip-hop industry has become a mirror of the very systems it once tried to escape. 50's narrative is that Jay-Z became the CEO of the system, using his power to gatekeep the culture while T.I. and others were left to navigate the debris. The genius of 50's strategy was that he didn't have to be the one talking. By letting T.I.'s words do the heavy lifting, he gave the documentary a sense of objective truth that his own social media trolling could never achieve. The fallout for T.I. has been multifaceted. While he remains a legend, the invisible hand of Roc Nation is powerful. We began to see a shift in the media landscape. Rumors circulated that certain major streaming platforms, which have deep ties to Jay-Z's business interests, were hesitant to promote new content featuring T.I. until the situation was resolved. This is the terrifying reality of modern hip-hop power. It's not just about who has the better verse, it's about who owns the infrastructure. Jay-Z's snap sent a chilling message to anyone else considering sitting down with 50 Cent. Your stories might be true, but the cost of telling them might be your future. In an effort to defend his honor, T.I. took to his own platforms to address the narrative. He claimed that his intentions were always to show the complexity of the business, and that he has nothing but love for Big Bro. But in the cold world of New York business, love doesn't pay the bills or fix a broken trust. The tension escalated when 50 Cent released a teaser of the documentary's finale, which featured T.I. discussing a specific 2017 deal that supposedly went south because of higher-level interference. The implication was clear. Jay-Z was the one pulling the strings. This brings us to the ultimate legacy of this feud. For 50 Cent, this documentary is his masterpiece of disruption. He has successfully moved from being a rapper who trolls to a media mogul who can influence the stock prices and reputations of billionaires. He proved that no one, not even Jay-Z, is truly untouchable if you have the right witness. 50 Cent's victory isn't in destroying Jay-Z, because Jay is too big to fail, but in humanizing him, showing the world that even the coolest guy in the room can get rattled. For Jay-Z, the snap was a rare moment of vulnerability. It showed that despite all the money and the paintings and the corporate titles, he is still a man who values his respect above all else. His reaction served as a final ultimatum to the industry. The blueprint is not a public document. It is a private map, and anyone who tries to sell copies of it will be dealt with. This situation has forced a lot of artists to look at their own NDAs and their own circles, realizing that in the digital age, your brother might be your biggest liability. The impact on the culture is perhaps the most significant part. We are seeing the end of the untouchable era. For a long time, this feud has exposed the cracks in that facade. It shows that even at the highest levels, there is still jealousy, there is still competition, and there are still old wounds that haven't healed. The King of the South and the King of New York, clashing through a 50 Cent lens, is the ultimate proof that the game has changed. It's no longer about the block, it's about the brand. As we look toward the future, the question remains, will there ever be a reconciliation? In hip-hop, money usually has a way of bringing people back to the table. But this feels different. This feels like a permanent shift in the hierarchy. T.I. continues to navigate his path. 50 Cent continues to build his media empire on the back of controversy. And Jay-Z continues to move in a silence that is now more guarded than ever. The documentary may eventually be released, or it may be tied up in legal battles for years, but the damage to the brotherhood is already done. Jay-Z's snapping wasn't just a headline. It was a signal that an era of hip-hop has come to an end. The era of blind loyalty is over, replaced by an era of calculated moves and digital exposure. 50 Cent set the trap, T.I. walked into it, and Jay-Z made sure the world knew that he was still the one holding the keys to the kingdom. This story reminds us that even when you reach the top of the mountain, you still have to watch your back. Because sometimes the person standing next to you is the one who knows exactly where to push. In conclusion, the saga of Jay-Z, T.I., and 50 Cent is more than just a celebrity feud. It's a case study in power, betrayal, and the cost of the truth. As the documentary nears its final edit, the industry holds its breath, waiting to see if any more snaps are coming. One thing is for certain, the game will never be the same. This is a chess match where every move has a massive price tag. But I want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Is Jay-Z right to protect his empire at all costs? Or has 50 Cent finally exposed a truth the industry has been hiding for years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be hearting the best takes. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on. You don't want to miss our next video where we reveal the secret tapes 50 Cent is threatening to leak. See you in the next one.